Well, I started this about 5 years ago for no good reason. I volunteered at West Nashville, and I volunteered all my life, but I've never run a nonprofit or a food pantry at all. But there was an organization in this area that had formed after the flood to do flood recovery. And what they did is they let other organizations who wanted to help all get together and use the space, and they had a little food and just did like some cool this and that. Well, they were closing because the flood recovery is kind of ending. So I approached the preacher here, never laid eyes on her, and I said, I know this space is fixing to be vacant. Why don't you give me this space and just let me see if I can do something here? And she said, okay, great, because she thought I'd be gone like in a month. And that was 5 years ago. So when I first started, we had maybe 10 or 12 families a week that would come here for food, and now we have about 170, 180 every week who come and get groceries for free. The changes have been huge. I mean, we have gone from just a few shoppers a week to a lot of families being helped. We've also made alliances with people, farmers in particular, in the city, and so now we have a lot of fresh produce, which is good. That's something it's really hard to find. We don't have any restrictions on who can get food here, which is a little different. You just come in and shop. All you have to have is a name to shop here. And you can come every week, and that's a little different too than most places. Most places will pack a box. You can get like 3 a year, and here you can come every week. So that's a difference. One thing that we have grown to do is a lot of homeless outreach because there's such a great need. There's really a hidden population here in West Nashville of folks who are unhoused and have a lot of needs that are not being met. So one thing that I can remember when I first started, it was late one night and I was here working, and it was raining, it was terrible and cold and just a nasty night. And this guy came in and he asked if I had any shoes. And at the time I didn't have stuff like that because I was a food pantry. But I looked at his shoes and I was like, well, let me see if I can find something. And I found him a pair and I was like, try them on before you go because I don't want you to take them if they don't fit. And he wouldn't take his shoes off. I was like, come on, you can't take them if you don't try them, I got, whatever. So he finally told me he was embarrassed to take his shoes off because he didn't have socks. He had wrapped his feet in plastic bags, trying to keep them dry. His shoes were just all of that. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I was like stunned. And it's still like tears me up today thinking about this guy. Like, he had been doing this for years because it's all he could do. And I found out that's a fairly common practice, which is stunning to me. Like, wow. And at that moment, I was like, oh my God, this is not enough. Putting beans in a bag is just like, so what? So we started doing a lot more outreach, and since that time, I've seen like such a huge difference in what people come to ask for. Everybody.
I had initially started because I was in need of help myself. I was working for a living. I just, every once in a while, like having the kids, I just was a little bit short on groceries, and so my friend had told me about this space, and I started coming down here as a client, and I saw a need for the additional help. This is back when they were still kind of getting started. It was a slow-moving process, and as I just became more and more involved, one of the things that has always struck me about this way is the way the value that everybody is given. It doesn't matter if you're off the streets or you're not on the streets. There's no income limitations for being able to come here and get assistance. The majority of the population that we serve is either marginally housed or homeless. So the help's definitely going where it needs to go. But you have some that just need a little bit of extra too. So as I started getting down here, I just enjoyed the company of the people. I enjoyed. I think things that have impacted me that I've gotten to see here, and this goes back to that positive affirmation of others, is you've got some people that I've been able to witness that were homeless, on the streets, had nothing to give, just needed. But being here and being able to help out and give back I think it increased their own self-worth. So I've watched people that were literally in the depths of the disease of alcoholism or drug addiction start to get here and come to this loving environment and start to come here sober. And then they started to live their lives outside of that sober. And so they've been able to increasingly just better their lives. You know, we've had people that literally went from sleeping out in the field off of 40th to having an apartment, going and getting jobs, and becoming working members of society. And I don't think that could have happened without the love that Little Pantry that Coda has to offer everyone. I mean, it don't matter who you are, where you're from, just come as you are. We love you, we want you here, and we want to get to know you. You know, there's a sign over there, and it says, "We are available to others," affirming of others. We do not feel threatened of others being able to do good. And so when you look at that, and you really like look at that as having been the mission statement and that positive affirmation that we give to each other, there's always like this steadfast group of friends. There's a cup of coffee. There's lots of hugs. I mean, this really is a hospital for the downtrodden, broken-hearted, and those who just need a safe, good place, environment to be in.
At the pantry about, well, I've been in Nashville for 20 years. I've been coming up here about 10 years.
Okay.
And I've been helping out, you know, doing a little something, you know.
Now they're the more yellow mangoes, not the orange mangoes, so they're not quite as sweet, but they're still very good.
I got more boxes over there, so
The other ones are more orangey, and these ones are a little bit more. You have a great day.
Thank you. Okay.